training camp has officially begun for the Lions. It has now been a week. Just got back from vacation, so I've been off. Unfortunately, we had to go when training camp was going on. But the key focus for lots of people around the Lions organization, including me, was if Alex Anzalone was going to show up to training camp. Now, Alex Anzalone did show up to training camp. I expected him to show up. He never went to the Lions OTAs, minicamp, or anything like that. He's always missed those practices for whatever reason. He always has. But I expected him to show up for training camp, and he did. Now, he did not practice the first 5 days. He did not practice the first 5 days due to a hamstring injury, quote from Dan Campbell. Now, that could be the case, but he also went up to reporters, I believe it was day 3 or day 4 of training camp, and he said people asked him about I think it was Dave Burkett, asked him about his contract situation, and Alex Anzalone says he's not happy. You got to talk to Dan Campbell and Brad about the contract situation. I'd like a new contract. I feel like I deserve it. I want to be here long term. I want to retire a Detroit Lion. That's pretty much what he came out and said. So after that, we're like, okay, could this be a hold-in type situation? Dan Campbell's like, I hope this isn't a hold-in situation. I don't see Anzalone doing that. And then Anzalone, a couple days later, when the fans got to come to training camp, which was yesterday, no, 2 days ago, the recording of this video, he had the Lions, or maybe it was yesterday, I can't remember. 1 or 2 days ago was the first day that Lions fans were able to show up to training camp, and that is the first day that he practiced. And this is according to Jeremy Reisman. Alex Anzalone was just limited today, which was yesterday at the recording of this video. After practice, he was asked if making it on the field was a sign of contract progress. He answered with a frank laughter with a no. I watched that little bit. He was laughing and acted like everybody was crazy, thinking it was any contract progress there. And yeah, he laughed with saying a no. So Alex Anzalone did say as well that he will participate in training camp and play during the games during the regular season, even if a contract cannot be worked out. But this is interesting because the Lions also brought in a linebacker that we'll be talking about in a video coming out after this. Actually, it could be coming out before this now since we have released Stanley Thomas Oliver if you've not seen that. So we do have a roster spot open, which could lead to this guy being signed. That is, in my opinion, one of the biggest free agents on the market. I think I did my calculations, and I think I have him as my 8th or 9th best free agent on the market of any position. And he is by far the best linebacker left in free agency, which sparked some rumors going on that could the Lions, at least for me, Alex Anzalone hold out, or could they potentially get rid of him for whatever reason? I thought that was not likely at all. But I'm like, well, you got to think about it because the Lions already have great linebacker depth with Anzalone, Campbell, Barnes, Rodriguez when he comes back, Cunningham, Grant Stewart, Turner, Pittman. So they got great depth at that position. Deron Gilbert. So they got great depth at that position. Every one of those guys legitimately can make the 53-man roster without a problem. Deron Gilbert, we've not really seen what he looks like. But Pittman, you know what we're going to get from Pittman, a good special teamer, not much on defense. Ezekiel Turner, very, very, very athletic and fast linebacker, can move all across the field. Great special team. In my opinion, he's probably our best special team linebacker. He is phenomenal at that. Can play on the defense side of the ball. I like him a little bit more on the defense side of the ball than a guy like Anthony Pittman just because of his athleticism. So you got good depth at that position. So it sparked rumors of potentially about Anzalone not being a Lion if the Lions were to sign this linebacker, which is Kaiser White. So I don't know what the Kaiser White bringing in has to do. Kaiser White is hybrid. He can play safety, but he is more of a linebacker. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Isaiah Simmons. Kind of same type build. But yeah, so the Lions did bring in Kaiser White, which sparked some rumors what they could do here with Alex Anzalone. But it seems to me that Alex Anzalone will be a Detroit Lion. Hopefully they can work out a contract. He is in the 40th. He's in between 40 and 50th highest paid linebacker, which is insane. I think he's the 46th highest paid linebacker in the NFL, which is insane. He is arguably a top 10 linebacker in the NFL. So it's insane how Alex Anzalone is being paid like the 46th highest paid linebacker. It's ridiculous. I mean, I thought when we gave him the extension back in 2022 was even a cheap, or was it 2023? It was 2023 when we gave him the extension. 2023 offseason when we gave him the extension. I even thought it was cheap. 3 years, $18 million. I'm like, $6 million for Anzalone seems like almost a steal. And what do you know? I think this also why Alex Anzalone feels a little bit disrespected with his current contract is just because Derek Barnes, the Lions extended Derek Barnes for 3 years, $25 million this offseason. Derek Barnes has not played nearly as much as Anzalone. He's not played at the level of Anzalone, and he cannot stay healthy like Alex Anzalone. Alex Anzalone did have a little bit of an injury issue last year with the elbow when he hurt it. I believe it was in the Jacksonville game. That kept him out a little bit, but Derek Barnes has been proven not to stay as healthy throughout his career as Alex Anzalone. So I think Alex Anzalone felt a little bit disrespected by that. But you know, you never know. I don't know, but I'm glad to see Alex Anzalone back on the practice field. Hopefully his contract can get worked out. I don't know what his extension would be. There have been like no talks from what I've understood with Alex Anzalone getting an extension. I don't know what his contract would end up being. I really have no clue because he is 31 on the last year of his deal. He'll be 32 next year, so he would probably get a 2 or 3 year extension. I would assume he'd probably get a 2-year extension for probably $14-15 million is probably what I would guess. 7 to 7.5 million a year is probably what Anzalone would get just because of his age. Adding that final year of his deal, so we'd have for 3 years under contract. I think if we do extend him, and I think it would be for probably about 3 years, $20 million if you count this year already left on his contract. So one, probably go Lions. What do you think about Alex Anzalone returning? Do you think the Lions will extend him, or do you think he could potentially go off his word or make his word and do play during the regular season, even if he does not get an extension? So one, probably go Lions. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below.